so we were working in making things clearer, more structured, and seems like these efforts have paid off. We resubmitted the proposal as proposal 68, and now, yeah, I think what is current support, guys? Like, I think similar to the previous one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, seems like
Yeah,
we're doing well.
we're having a support over 80%. And it's kept that way. I can show you the graphs we're making to track this in almost real time in a bit. But yeah, it's overall we've done pretty good.
Yeah, sounds great. So, yeah, what do you say, guys? We go through some of maybe an overview of what changed, and then start to address some of the questions that have been popping up in the post, so we can address the different points and talk about each of them.
Well, I agree. Let's do that. The questions are in kusama.polkassembly.io/posa/2143 or proposal 68. But we're gonna read them from the post page, so we don't get overloaded by the stats of the body so far. This is because my computer is suffering. So yeah, we start with a question that was asked with a comment that was submitted by Paradox. It was 19 hours ago. Hi Daniel, your last proposal was particularly frustrating to review. It is refreshing to see that you've put forward an effort with the revision and community engagement. I don't have a settled position with the proposal, something does not feel right about it. I hope that with some reassuring answers, I can get on a position where I can deliver with a comfortable A. 1. Is there a reason that you have not revised the EMA 7 rate in your proposal and thus the overall asking amount? The parameters are the same as they were in the previous proposal. 2. Where can I read more about the detail?
Maybe if you want, we can start like addressing point by point, and then.
Okay. Let's do that. Let's address the first point before.
So yeah, for our dear Paradox, always very paying attention to all proposals in the community. Good questions, and I wrote this answer, but we will discuss this answer and try to make it clearer. So about the revising the EMA, the main reason was also for practical reasons, also because I think it's the functionality of being able to have a pre-image on chain and then be able to submit it more than once. I think this is a great functionality to use for the case like ours, where we had a proposal that didn't pass and then we did some adjustments and then we submit the same proposal because it's basically still the same and we just add some more context. So that's one reason, I guess. We just resubmit the same pre-image, which seems like the straightforward thing to do. But also then, as prices are always crazy, going up and down, turns out that in the last few days, Kusama prices have fluctuated a lot in increasing the price of Kusama. I wouldn't take this as the reason to immediately change the price. And even though this affected the moving average, we hope the community will understand that these prices are still very likely to change, and well, it's very uncertain to trust prices keep going up or down, or like, so we don't see that is a big problem to keep things the way they were in the previous proposal. And the other point is that we are this group of technical people, mostly a lot of developers that are very eager to work for the ecosystem. We want to develop these tools for Kusama and Polka that make adoption much easier, much simpler. But not only that, not only we are working on this virtual stack that we have described in the proposal in the previous video, we are also people that are trying to live off the treasury. We have already been building and basically living off the treasury for the past 2 to 3 years. And we are very interested in solving a lot of the issues we see with governance, with how treasury funds are spent. I've spent a considerable amount of time giving opinions on how, for example, treasury spends could be improved in the podcast forum. And if you're given the chance to have like this freedom to develop, keep developing for the ecosystem, and the more resources we have, like the longer our runway can be, or also we can bring even more people to the team. We have in the Spanish-speaking community a lot of great talent that could jump on board and work with us. There's a lot of projects always ready to be developed. So yeah, we are this team that is serving the community, and we will be glad to keep creating cool stuff for Kusama, and hopefully we can do it more, because more resources will allow us to do more of these developments. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have anything to add.
I would a small mention that say, and I'd say that this has been by far one of the most raised concerns among all the comments we're about to read. And one of the things I will say that matters is that, well, if we are given the grant, if we are given the funds from the treasury, yeah, we have a plan on how to execute the budget, so we can make sure that we're going to abide to the plan we have in mind according to our vision. That said, one thing is the theory, and one thing is saying, hey, right now the Kusama is $35 per Kusama, and we're asking for 20,000 Kusamas, that is $700,000. That's not entirely true, because we can take those funds out all at once, and we can do that because of practical reasons, but because of we also want to keep we want to keep the resources, the economy, the tokenomics of the Kusama as stable as possible, and we know it's a really huge cut in the overall resources. So what we planned was, hey, we need to plan for a small buffer that takes in consideration the price fluctuations. That said, we planned for a 20%, and the last month's increase of price has been around 41%. That is twice the, the initially expected fluctuation from what we've been seeing over the last year. And it's really important for us to have conservative estimations because we can't afford ourselves being caught at the half of the period of our runway just because as good as the price increases right now, the price will fall quickly, and that's why we're having more conservative estimations. It's not because we're not believing that the price will increase over time, and we do expect that to happen, and we'd be really grateful if that happens in the meantime. As Daniel said, the more the merrier. Yeah, as Daniel said, well, the more resources we have, the more runway, the more talent, the better outcome for the entire community. But we still have to be pretty conservative about the possible outcomes.
Yeah, so continuing the next point there about a statement we had in the description of the post is related to helping more than 350,000 families in Venezuela in the past. Maybe David, you have a lot of context there. You can give us some inputs.
Thank you for everybody who is listening right now and is taking care about this proposal and the resources of the Kusama Treasury. Yeah, so in the past, with Daniel, we worked together at Valiu, a YC company that helped more than 350,000 families in Venezuela. We started this company in 2018. We started helping them to send in money abroad. The reason is because the hyperinflation in Venezuela drains the uh, power of acquisition and also inhibits the wealth creation for those families. So we started to send in money from Colombia using Bitcoin, specific local Bitcoins. But what we found is that quickly the people there started to find ways to get protected against devaluation, like some traditional ways like find cash in the streets and even buying Bitcoin or crypto to take out the money from the country. So at the time, what we created was a USD savings account using crypto, where we used derivatives or futures of Bitcoin to create what is called synthetic dollar. And that was super magnific because now the people who receives the remittances in Venezuela had the opportunity to get protected and protect its money value, their money value. And so we grow it a lot, but I think that the most important experience not only was like how beautiful was to help people using this technology that we started to think and use like far away for a long time with Daniel. I think that also was important to understand that deploy these kind of solutions using crypto was really, really, really hard because there are a lot of like challenges when you're trying to bring a product that is crypto for people that it's normal people, they're not crypto people because they don't care if it's crypto behind or not. They care more about the necessity that they're solving. But if you put a lot of like restrictions, a lot of like um, problems when you're trying to create an account, like let's keep this seed phrase, let's if you lose your phone, you lost your phones. That's something really like um, problematic and also hard to understand. So what we do and was like really amazing is like understand it, since the product perspective and link it with the technology vision, how to deploy this kind of solutions to abroad, to an abroad audience. So yeah, I think that we in the answer to Paradox, we answered with like press that talk about their experience in Venezuela. But if you guys would like to know more about this experience of helping people in Latin America using crypto and blockchain technology, we are a message of distance of you. And also we are always been open to share this kind of experience in technology and also social impact initiatives that we had now and in the past with the team.
Awesome. So let's keep on reading the next question. Yeah. The next question is the Virtu team received funding for 4 proposals. Were the objectives of all of these achieved and delivered?
Yeah, and that's a good question, but the simple answer would be yes, except for the Fido proof of concept that is still being worked on to be delivered by the end of this month. Initially was due in December, but there's usually delays in software development, but one that affected us was losing a considerable amount of those funds of this proof of concept due to swapping to the AUSD stablecoin that we all know is still struggling to recover its peg, but we cannot wait until the peg is restored. We need to convert the money and pay salaries, but that also means like we cannot pay all the developers that were initially intended to work on this project. But this, anyway, the project is quite advanced. We are I think on good track to deliver by the end of this month. Well, this kind of stress induced by proposal, like keeping track of things,
Yeah.
affects a bit our peace of mind to develop properly. But well, it is what it is. The rest of the projects, yes, for example, I linked in the response, for example, was almost a year ago, maybe. No, like 8 months ago, there was this Substrate Summit seminar where I was showcasing the state of the Sube library, the scales, I think libwallet as well, the state at that time. Of course, we haven't. Also, this is an answer to another question in the forum there. We haven't shared much like the report and completion of these specific items, these libraries, because these libraries are quite experimental, I would say. Like, I'm still not very comfortable with releasing like version 1, a stable version, because we are still iterating a lot on how this interface for developers is going to look like. What is working today maybe it's not quite there yet to the level of quality or stability that is required to release a stable version 1, for example. So we keep iterating on these projects. It's visible in the repositories that are linked in the proposal. In the repositories, we can see the activity and how we keep adding features or even reducing features. For example, Sube had like the surface of the API, like the amount of things, the amount of ways you could interact with this library was quite extended. You could call out a bunch of functions and so on. Now, for example, we are in the process of making it even simpler, more straightforward, something you can use basically just one function and that's it, because a lot of the work we are putting on these low-level libraries is to make them as lightweight and simple as possible. It's sometimes much more difficult to make things smaller and simpler than it is to just add functionalities. So even though we don't even like it kind of keeps the same functionality, but the way things are used is gonna be simpler in the future, and that's also some of the things we reflect in the proposal, how we are gonna improve these libraries, how we're gonna debug, like fix some edge cases, bugs, etc., so we can finally be comfortable to release stable versions of those libraries. That doesn't mean that they cannot be used. We use them internally. We are already building new extra things, APIs on top of these libraries that are these building blocks to all the things, new developments that will come later this year.
Even though if you want to get a little experimental, I think I feel comfortable saying that we've recently released a test tool that shows how the different libraries are integrated. Well, we can share a link in the description of this video once it's in YouTube. It's the tool is called VirtoLIVE, and it's basically a showcase of how do you easily integrate the tool to make two simple activities like getting your balance and making a transfer using your account that is not stored in an extension, but it's safely stored within your computer, or it might be stored in a secret storage over the internet, like SSS, something like that. And even we're trying to make it work on embedded devices in the future. So, like Fido. So that's a thing. It's a constant it's a constant work in progress. So so in this case, yeah, that's a thing. If you want to get your hands on something that's a little experimental at this moment, you're ready to do it. You can clone the repository. You can build it. You can put your hands on it, make comments, raise a PR maybe.
Yeah, this kind of also kind of an explanation to the next point of Paradox and why engaging with the Kusama Treasury and not Polka's Treasury or the Web3 Foundation grants. One of the simple reasons is that a lot of the things we are building, like this Virto stack from scratch, is a lot of things are being created from zero, are quite experimental. Like, for example, you don't want to yet trust all your money to the library for the wallet, as we don't know yet if it's gonna have bugs. So until all this software is properly audited and used at a bigger scale in production systems, I think there's a lot of chaos to expect there. So not only that, but also the project we have in mind for this year that include very creative efforts, like this hardware wallet that is handcrafted and integrating matrix with substrate, like different new approaches to how things are currently done in the ecosystem. I think that's quite experimental, and that fits very well with the ethos of Kusama. Once we see that things are a bit more mature, we could consider, for example, for our next proposal, go to Polka directly, as Polka maybe also has a bigger pot of funds, and maybe the community in Kusama won't feel that we are kind of competing and maybe taking resources out of the ecosystem. Although, to be fair, I think we shouldn't think that Kusama funds are only for new small things. It's more about the philosophy, no? Like, this stuff is experimental, even though it might be some very big experiment, it still fits. If it still fits in Kusama, I think it's a good place to go and ask for community support. Yeah, and who knows, maybe, for example, once Kusama and Polkadot are connected, this idea of sending a bunch of funds from Polkadot's treasury to Kusama's treasury, maybe it comes true, and in that way maybe Kusama community won't feel that the smaller resources the community has are being spent in things that could be going for the bigger pot of resources in Polkadot. Yeah, that's a nice question. So initially, it seems that what we are doing is still too obscure for the Kusama community to take any advantage of, because, like, for example, these low-level libraries that only developers can use in other tools that then eventually get used in applications, but is not something people in the community are gonna use straight away. But a lot of our effort goes into making this technology able to run everywhere, because we need it to run everywhere. We need it to be very portable, very lightweight, and very seamless. So later, developers in the ecosystem can create very simple applications that are simple to use, that don't require all these extra burden that, as we are used to, like with browser extensions and native apps and whatnot. So definitely the community will benefit, but it might take just a little bit while we add this, like keep adding, building on top of these initial building blocks. It will be very interesting to hear feedback from the community once we start rolling out some initial prototypes of the hardware wallet, or once we have, for example, the blockchain node that combines the communications server matrix, because people might then be able to easily have their own kind of decentralized cloud space where they have their data, their conversations, all their applications, and their personal assistant that is living in an infrastructure that users control. This, I think, will benefit Kusama users greatly at the beginning, and later, of course, Polkadot ecosystem, and why not the rest of the blockchain ecosystem. Yeah, I think that'll be my take. Like, yeah, go ahead, David. Maybe you have some other.
I think the biggest benefit from what we're working on is that Kusama will be on the user's hands in real use cases. And I think that it's a really powerful scenario for a blockchain, because most of the struggles that has the communities and the ecosystem right now is precisely that, right? It's like how they can fit in a real use case scenarios, how they can fit in for daily people, how they can fit in my mom's phone on a mom's use case. So I think that Kusama will be the I think the biggest winner on top of this, because that means that we can increase the transactional amount of extrinsics and load for validators, and also for the whole ecosystem. So I think that that's something super attractive, and also, as Daniel said, it was a really nice question, and hopefully we answered that.
Yeah, maybe one point to add there, also related to how maybe our future initiatives might also help move the economy of Kusama. Like one point I think we didn't address in Paradox question, the last point, was about Kreivo as a parachain funded by Kusama. It has been sometimes controversial to define what is a common good parachain, what not. Should non-common good parachains be funded? We designed Kreivo to basically be a common good parachain material. It's up to the community to decide that. We still don't know if we are even gonna apply for a common good slot, at least a parathread for sure. We think the system, even though similar to how you could build a business on top of state mine, because you use the NFTs and the assets to create some kind of business. In a similar way, in Kreivo, people can use the payment infrastructure for secure reversible payments and being able to use this fee collection system in different ways to boost the Kusama economy. I think that's a possibility, but also we think that Kreivo as a parachain might not even get to exist, because we can also try to break down our protocol and try to integrate the pieces of our protocol into the existing common good chains that, in my opinion, I think they can fit there, because there are some valid use cases for them. And yeah, adding this, like building for the ecosystem, like adding more value to the ecosystem by adding extra protocols that are native, would be native to Kusama and later Polkadot, will hopefully also move more the economy of Kusama. For example, if our families are buying products from different stores and they're paying some tax or some fee in KSM or other assets of the ecosystem, I think all those different developments in the future that we expect will definitely have a great impact on the economy of Kusama.
Awesome. I don't know if you want to read the next question that is related to the project. It's kind of similar to a question that was previously asked by Paradox, but we can go a bit deeper in those details if you feel it's okay.
Sure. Can quickly address this. Maybe it was not very clear, but the links to repositories of everything we are doing are in the proposal next to the title in the annex. There is this link in the emoji. Maybe we can change that to make it more obvious that there is a link for the repository there. And yeah, as we said before, we have developed these libraries, mostly these low-level building blocks that we keep improving. We haven't done any special communication about any of the libraries before. Maybe a mistake there, because we don't feel it's like in this state where we can say, okay, this is worthy of version 1 stable and so on. But the libraries, we are using them, and I think other people have used them. So just bear with us that we will keep working and iterating on those tools to make them rocket solid, so they can be used everywhere as well. They can already be used in the different platforms we said, like in the browser, in the embedded hardware, in the server, and so on. So check the repos, and yeah, we keep working on them.
Yeah, so I think that the last question is also related to, I don't know if you're hearing me. Can you hear me?
Hmm.
Yeah. All right,
Yep.
cool. So I think that the last question was also related to that we are not doing a lot of like voice in our marketing to share our solutions to real world users, right? So, and I think that it also uh, it's because the state of alpha from our libraries, because as we are like taking care of money or like value in our hands, I think that at least we have a release or a version that could be we feel comfortable with. I think that we can start like doing those things. But however, we in the proposal we created an OKR where we want to launch meetups and also conference apply to conferences, for example, in the Polkadot ecosystem and also few ones in the Latin American region in order to share the results and the progress of this proposal and taking this like light in order to like create noise and voice the voice necessary to people to know that what we're building and also to attract builders and developers to build on top of us.
Yeah, maybe adding a point there. In the past, the focus of the team has been mostly in the development side. Sure, there has not been much communication over social media, especially at the beginning when I was the one handling the social media, and I'm a person that doesn't use social media. I'm not definitely qualified for uh, uh, sharing virtual vision with the world, maybe. But it's something we are going to be improving on as we start getting to a state where we think it's worth making noise before we don't like to just make noise and about a product or a protocol when things are still not usable or something people can actually touch. As we will be developing this year things that are more user facing, you will definitely hear from us. Another thing that we have done on the side is like experiments with real world use cases that don't even mention anything about Virto, anything about blockchain, because that's what we think should be the way to really bring blockchain to the masses by not talking about blockchain, by just creating nice products that people can use and see some benefits, but they don't even know those benefits are because of blockchain or decentralization.
Awesome. Uh, the the final question is from Yei Shrauna. Well, as I was saying, he was with us yesterday at AEG, and he asks, "Hey Daniel, sorry I forgot to mention this on AEG, but why is a team with such proof of work looking to snap up 4.6% of the Kusama Treasury? Ongoing funding of an established team could be more appropriately funded on our Polkadot Treasury, leaving KSM for teams and individuals just getting started. Nothing at all against the work, and more funding seems in the best interest of the network to me. Reposting this as a Polkadot proposal with the positive feedback you've seen here with Gold will get you the same funding, only a few weeks delayed, while preserving Kusama Treasury funds for other teams to follow in your footsteps. Anyway, lots of respect for growing so much through governance and showing face on AEG." I think that there was some discussion about some huge initiatives down there. Actually, this comes in connection with another question, with one of the questions that that Paradox asked, and why choosing Kusama instead of the Polkadot Treasury and or W3F. So I think we can have a better light on on that discussion?
Yeah, I think we kind of answered this question before, but just to talk a bit more, elaborate a bit more about that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a difference of opinion, but I think the reasons why you go to Polkadot Treasury or Kusama Treasury shouldn't be about the amount of funds and about whether you are just getting started in the ecosystem or not. Of course, it's usually more common for people that are getting started and getting their initial funds to go to Kusama, and bigger initiatives to be asked on Polkadot. But here, what we are doing, even though it's a bigger scope, like, yeah, we are kind of saying like, hey, fund this team, we have this dream of becoming the Latin American party, like becoming a big house of Rust developers that can build different tools for the ecosystem and different solutions. It might seem that a team that has these bigger requirements should go to Polkadot, but I think because of the nature of our projects, maybe we should, like, we are still very in the experimental side. We are still in this chaotic state, like where things cannot yet be used in production. So it's perfect use case for Kusama. Of course, as technology matures, we might go into Polkadot in the future, but I still feel very aligned with the philosophy of Kusama. Luckily, we can stay more in touch with the Kusama community, like servants of the Kusama community, and keep experimenting on things. Maybe that could be our role in the future, like a tech team that experiments with different ways of interacting with the technology. We don't know. Also, it will be up for the community to decide in the future. And yeah, maybe I would be more eager to see if the community think that there are too many experimentalists going like draining all the funds of the Kusama Treasury, and Polkadot Treasury is still sitting very fat and unused, then maybe now that Kusama Polkadot might be connected in the near future and funds will be able to transfer from one chain to another, I think it would be more interesting to maybe ask the conservative cousin of Kusama, say, hey, Polkadot, please, can you maybe share your big pot of funds, because there are more experimental people in the ecosystem that there are like bigger, more stable projects. But it's just one take, but luckily it can explain our point and why we did it that way.
Yeah. Well, I think that's like all of the questions so far. We'll be receiving more. We'll be receiving more questions. You can comment on YouTube. You can comment on our Twitter account. You can comment here on Podcast Assembly. The point is that you don't stop going forward in the discussion, because that will help us with lots of feedback. The more feedback, the better the result will be. So yeah, I wanted to show a little status of the current of the voting, because well, we're pretty excited. We're pretty happy for you to keep with us. So basically, this is it. we're still above the 75 percentile, so it's been good. It's been a good support. The support is growing over and over and over, and well, we're really glad and we're really happy this has happened. So if you guys want to keep voting, it's a good time to do. I don't know any final words you want to say, Daniel or David?
No, I think, yeah, just sharing. Well, we are very noobs doing this kind of streams, but we will try to keep going, doing more often. Not only now during the proposal time and the deciding period, we will keep sharing updates, addressing questions, but also later we want to make it a habit to keep engaging with the community, keep sharing our progress, doing demos, doing like just receiving feedback in general and trying to engage more with the community.
Yeah, exactly. The overall purpose of these streams is so you can get the most amount of up-to-date information, not only in this process of the proposal, but after. How are the things going on? How's Danny? Can you show us the Fido, the wallet?
Well, this was my Christmas experiment. Just my balcony doing some manual, like a piece of my desk. I just cut a piece of my desk and start like manually sanding it down, some 3D printed thing with my dog there. But this is a functional thing that has like a prototype inside of like a small chip that has Bluetooth connectivity, a small battery, a little button, and yeah, hopefully something as simple as this could be used in the future by people like when you need to approve a transaction or something, you just need to maybe long press a button and then you have this second factor authentication, like this second signature in a multi-sig setup that uses multi-party computation. A lot of interesting a lot of interesting ways to experiment with these kind of concepts will come. So hopefully we will be able to share more of these kind of developments and prototypes. So
yeah, I don't know if it's too early to talk about the waiting list.
Yeah, I think that we can leave that for the next streaming as a
Yeah.
Yes, because I think that we would like to pay back to the community because this is an effort for all of us to like first believe in a team of people who is in Latin America, who is trying to change the things around. But second is also the time that the people takes to take care of the proposal, read carefully what we wrote, and at the end of the day, like vote is just an act of say, hey, I want to make it to happen, and I would like to change the things. So in that way, we would like to like open soon a waiting list about to get this hardware that we are designing, that we are creating, and in that way we can put in people's hands as fast as possible all of this technology and new technology to get feedback. So yeah, I think that we can do that on the next stream and talk a little bit more about what is it about, and so you just have to get connected and tune in our streamings.
yeah, I think that'll be it. Thanks everybody for joining or rewatching
In YouTube.
YouTube later when we upload this video. Yeah, keep in touch.
All right.
Peace. Bye.